Happy free agent night, Sharks. Hope you're enjoying. I don't want to take too much of your time because, like you, I am constantly checking Twitter and updating and refreshing to see what Shams and Woj got on the latest signings and rumors. But I did want to touch on a few things, as I had previously said. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, I wanted to touch on some things, give a little State of the Union address here, and yeah, all sorts of things to touch on. If you recall, 2 months ago, if I can find the clip and splice it, I'll splice it in here. But I said that we were in the beginning of stages of running for the exits, and I said, we need another gift back, which was the title of the video. And I still believe that, because that would help. I'm not going to lie, we're in, like, the early stages of running for the exits. We're in the early stages of that, all right? We're in the early stages of the collapse, is what we're in. And I knew that the things from March were going to be nice. They're going to be perks. They're going to be fandom. But they're not the marketplace. And people need their marketplace to be just within, like, levels, say, February-esque, you know, for us to be able to trade with any confidence. So those good trading decisions, hi, Top Shot Economist, they're not going to take place in this economy. But I don't know. No news on that. I have heard some rumblings. I don't know how credible they were, truthfully, but that would be nice. Certainly Roham knows that we need that for holding on as long as we have under these conditions. And yeah, a lot of things are down, and there were some unforced errors, and yeah, we've touched on all that. And I want to touch on some other things. Andre Iguodala, great player. Was a great player in Philly and Denver. Is still an impactful player now, is a Golden State Warriors fan base for a fan base that has only gotten bigger and, you know, just is coming off a title. So, I mean, Andre Iguodala, I mean, is a meaningful player for the long term that you would think to have Iggy in your collection. So, yeah, anyone complaining about the quality of the player, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he's got a Hall of Fame case. It may not be Draymond or Rodman, but it's something. I mean, he's got a Finals MVP, which I believe neither of the other two have. I don't know if he really entirely deserved it over Curry. I mean, he did to an extent. I mean, he had a case at least for that. But yeah, the completions right now are promising. There aren't a ton of them. He's on pace for, I think, MGLE 2, kind of like 450 to 550 kind of final mint. So I mean, you know, I'm not mad at that. And indeed, if that's what it takes to keep value in the right place, then I don't think you know. I think the requirements are spot on. You know what I'm saying? If the requirements are too demanding and the caliber of the player is too great, you might see what happened with the Ja Morant crafting challenge and how quickly we forget. You know, like why would we opt for similar conditions that caused an EV negative challenge? I mean, yeah, I mean the less significant players will lead to less burning, and in order to do that, you need less demanding requirements to be burnt. That has always been sort of what I imagined, is that we would burn less because in having to, I mean, you're not going to get to burn 10 commons for a rare. That's not going to be it. You know, they need to drive a certain amount of revenue, and you know, they need to be able to. They said they were raising the ceiling. Jacob explicitly said that. So I always envisioned it as you would have to burn less in order to get something that would eventually be a higher list because of what was required for that moment to, what was required to they call it craft the moment, but I would say complete the challenge. You know, because your moments from your collection had to go away. That value should then be consolidated into the Iggy, which I think that's what we're going to see. It could be just, you know, could go for 200 or something like that. I don't know. I can't say with any certainty right now. Hopefully people will hold the line on that. They seemingly never do, but I hope they will. And yeah, I don't actually have a problem with the crafting. You know, I know what people thought. I know that there will be common crafting challenges that will require probably a lot more quantity, which is great. It's just this is not it for the rare set. You know, I wonder what it's going to take for a legendary. I mean, if people were like, "Oh, we're starting over. I'm getting rid of all my dupes for this." I mean, you know, That may happen, but this just isn't that yet. I mean, we're trying a bunch of different things. This is the second ever crafting challenge. Did you think we were going to sort out everything from challenges in the second ever challenge, like after the John Morant with the strip? You thought we were going to be like, they were going to have all the data they needed after 2 challenges? We're in beta. We need to test crafting big time, and we're doing that now. And they'll learn more findings as they do more crafting challenges, but this is the second one ever, so chill out. You dig? So there's that, and yeah, there's some other things that are worth saying here. How do I say this? Foundationally, I just wish I knew what parts of the Top Shot experience thus far were the most open to interpretation and which have stayed right at the core of the product this whole time. I wish I knew why the market has continued to sink. I don't think it's just the NFT market. I think there have been unforced errors. And I think that people have lost confidence in the team overall, no matter who the head of it is. But it's more than that, because the decisions that have been made, I know that it's a very, very intricate product, but the decisions that have been made have led to just a lot of shifts. Like, we started with Tyler Hero and Terrence Ross and Harrison Barnes, and we transitioned to Kevin Durant and Evan Mobley and Suggs and Jalen Green, and now it's, as soon as people get a little involved, they disappear. Magic. I mean, I get that that's the conditions of a contractual obligation, but refer a friend. I'd like to be able to say that TV ads will just, once it's on TNT, then boom, we'll be in the clear. But I don't think that's where Janie's at. So what do we got to do to be a DFS competitor? I don't actually know. And I just, there's some sort of weird disconnect, I feel like, between us and Alan. I mean, Alan has been at the core of this, I think, longer than Jacob or Janie or Matt Shore or Packrip or anyone that's community facing. I think Alan is the co-creator. He's still there, so I think he's one of the longest running members. I think mathematically he knows what to do, but I wonder if he's able to sync with Janie on the marketing stuff, and I wonder to what extent he's trying to lead us back to the core of what he envisioned. Because as an artist myself, as a creator, as someone who tries to innovate, you go through a lot of different iterations of a concept before you manifest something for everyone to see, that not only works for them, but works for you. And as an artist, man, and I think of designers and game designers as artists, absolutely, It can be very daunting when the original concept of your idea gets dismantled, but you think, well, if only X had happened, then I would have been right. I would have been proven correct. And it's like, and I don't have the responsibility of having to do that, but I think for someone like Alan, it's like you do. You have the responsibility of being able to say, this is what happened, that it worked, and I'm right, and here's where we are. And if you're not, you can't continue to sort of, you can't scale under past assumptions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you look at S1 blog posts, they're really unrecognizable from the present day. There are things in there about the end of beta and the mobile app that do not resonate anymore. I mean, the original team had a much shorter timeline for beta than we have experienced thus far, and it just makes me think, to what degree is that still holding? I mean, I don't totally understand where we're at with mobile app. There's been nothing on hardcore for years. I mean, is that something we're not going to see? Are they going to try to get enough people where it just never, we literally just put it out of our minds and we never have to bring it up to them again, and they're never held accountable for that major promise? I mean, I've even seen something called softcore, where people have tried to get out ahead of the Dapper team to make this promise a reality, because they think, well, we'll beat them to it, which at this point, if they're able to do something like that with all the rights respective, I mean, they will indeed, which I don't think they can do on a rights level. But I'm concerned. If anything, I'm concerned because I don't know how many iterations and changes they have to make to get to a point where they're satisfied and we're satisfied. And I know the community is going to pile on. I know to a lot of different things. In some cases, they're very justified. Blended, I think Jacob kind of alluded to this in the last spaces, that Blended was really the turning point. It didn't have anything to do with the Series 3 mints, because the Series 3 mints actually, at the time, were really kind of justified, and they've absolutely scaled back down now that they realize that the demand isn't there right now. But, yeah, Blended was the turning point because you saw so much money get sucked back into the system. I don't know exactly when Tristan, the old GM, got fired, but it was maybe a month or two after that. I don't know what the conditions of that were. As I said at the time, it was a little concerning because I felt like they were trying to make him a scapegoat, but, it does seem as though they've fixed a lot of things. They've been very responsive in the last 2 or 3 months. I give Roham credit for that. I give Janie credit for that. I give Jacob credit for that, for being front and center and honestly taking a lot of hard questions that are all along, 92% of which are along the lines of, I'm disappointed in you. And Jacob just being like, well, firmly, we never said X, and here is what we're thinking, and we're on the same page as you, and just really being very, very, very magnanimous in his responses and able to just sort of roll with the punches. And his composure is really, really good. He may not have... Sometimes he can be very artful in not providing response too quickly, and sometimes he provides a response too quickly. We saw that with the whole historical moments and TSS thing, which I wasn't even really aware at that time that we were switching over to TSS. I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but we did move in that direction, obviously, and we're here. And I can see now that everyone's not thrilled with TSS, which is why when leaderboards come out, I want to do a video on how those work and how those integrate TSS and why I got to talk to MBL because TSS does scale, and I want to demonstrate that, apparently, because even someone like him, I don't think is either willing to explain the details on that or is aware of the details on that. And I always find that even some of the most dedicated collectors are just a couple of facts short. I mean, I know I spend an inordinate amount of time on these Top Shot details, but I also think that, I'm Shark, but, I wonder sometimes because, short of, I'm not going to call everyone out and say they don't have the facts, but sometimes just we're all too apt to call out holes that I just think that with a little, with some digging, you find that and then that's why it's my job in a lot of ways, I think, to try and put things in perspective. That's something I pride myself on and want to continue to do. But not that we have to blow up. If you remember back to the beginning of this channel, I said no such thing in terms of needing to do that, and this was all sort of an experiment, and we'd see how it goes, and as long as people watched, I would continue to make content, which I will do. And there's more. We got to do marketplace review. We got to do all day stuff. We got to do more TSS stuff. We got to do more Biggest Shark whenever 10 is really viable at this point, although I would never really make people flip in this market because this market is just depressing. There's not a ton of point in doing a marketplace review right now because honestly the marketplace review is just, there's no such thing as a deal. There's no bottom. We haven't hit it yet. It's going down. Anything you think is cheap now will just be cheaper in a week. I can't do Shark. I don't feel comfortable with Shark right now, and I don't feel comfortable with marketplace review right now. So that's why I've sort of hesitated on some of those things. But yeah, delving into concepts, not something I'm shy of. I just wanted to get to this first because I've been trying to process the last 2 months since I said we need another gift back, and it's good that they want to adapt to us, and they have addressed the concerns that we have. This is not the be-all and end-all of crafting challenges, the Iggy, and AG and fake Top Shot economists can say what they want. We cannot address all. We're not going to address all crafting rows in one fell swoop, and we're not going to do it with super demanding requirements for either a role player or a star. We saw what happens when you do it with a star. It doesn't make any sense for a role player, and it makes more sense on the common level. This is a rare. Andre Iguodala is a dang good player. I mean, You know, if you're a Memphis fan, you understand why DeAnthony Melton's a really valuable player. And you will want to, at least the Grizzlies fans are going to be like, I want myself a Melton. It is not ridiculous, certainly not ridiculous to think that an Andre Iguodala with a championship badge would be coveted by Warriors fans, enough to the point where they will buy the reward, if not burn the moments themselves. So, you know, making everybody benefits from challenges. It's not just about getting the reward. It's about the pumps and the amount of hopefully lack of dumps, before and after. And it's about the way you choose to get value in those times, because Dapper is adding demand, in an acute sort of artificial way to boost. To boost whatever rewards you choose. I mean, yeah, I absolutely think that there should always be paths for collectors to do what they want. But I also think that if collectors don't recognize the rewards that they're getting, they can't reap them. And, well, then we don't. That's really a problem. And furthermore, if the game designers and the people at the center of this thing, an NFT project is so weird like that. I don't know if we can continue like that, or it has to be a very hands-off thing like DraftKings, where you have no interaction with the people who are involved and you just use the system as intended, and that's sort of the end of it. I don't know if NFT people, NFT projects doxed like this is a really weird dynamic where all of them have their personal lives invaded, and they have to be held accountable, and they have to answer questions, and DraftKings doesn't have these problems. So it's just, yeah, it's like, oh, she said this and everything. There's always going to be dissent and disagreement. So I don't know, but, if the people at the center of it have their own ideas and initiatives that can't be held accountable to the community for financial, fiduciary, normal company reasons, then, reasons that would affect any private business with investors, then, the dynamic just gets way too weird, and possibly the user base suffers, and we suffer as a result of it. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting to see the community just pile on whenever they get a chance. And it's like, you are not totally wrong, but so often some of these actors can be so off, and there's no other way for me to put it other than to do what I do on Twitter. And whoever's loudest wins. That's Twitter right now. That's Top Shot Twitter right now. And some of these content creators, honestly, they're not helping. They're not doing anything other than making jokes. It's like, stop. Don't make jokes. This is not the time for that. People are in real pain. I don't know if you've caught that in the last 5 months, but this is not the time for, no offense, bear suits, and sort of top 5 collector disdain and disapproval and apathy and well, here's what I think, ape intervention and things like that. This is the time for unity and analysis and understanding and honestly compassion from all sides, and if there's something to be called out, it's in the interest of moving forward, and I'm totally in favor of that, but do it in a constructive way. Don't make me call you out. I don't want to do that. But everybody be a little humane here, and don't have the, seriously, don't. I know this is not my finest moment as a diplomat here, but don't be, not only just be civil, but understand that you've been granted access to these people for reasons that I don't totally understand, and it's a privilege. And if you're gonna engage, be respectful of their time and yours, and be respectful of I know there's frustration, but if there's no reason to pile on, I just wish everyone, I can't justify every complaint if people don't take the time to have all the facts at their disposal. I really can't. I can't do that. I can't condone every single ounce of frustration if the people involved don't know the deal. Like I had to say that, yeah, 25% of the Ja Morant All-Star Game 22, and that's no knock on the person who I said it to, because they're great. They're one of my real friends on Top Shot, but 25. It's not that a couple dozen have been burned. We've had moments burned where there were over 500 of them, and there have been significant, increases in demand as a result, as reflected by prices. So yeah, we're burning. We're burning rares. We're burning commons. We're maybe it seems we're gonna burn phantoms and maybe S1s and things like that. I don't exactly know where we're at, but we're doing things, and you know, variance has been addressed. So we're not gonna have a Taurasi situation, which I understood it at the time, certainly from both angles, and. Yeah, I'm not here to vouch for anything Dapper wants. I'm not a straw boss. Like I'm not here to straw man. I'm not here to, I'm not here to, you know, kowtow to anyone's demands or thoughts or reasoning, and I'm certainly not here to be a puppet. But, you know, the concerns that I have are just not the concerns everyone has, and I'm totally on board with that as a principle and as a thought and as a lifestyle, and not a lifestyle. No, not a lifestyle, but I'm on board with that as a guiding principle for now. I just wish I had the answers. I wish they came fast, and I wish that people would not be in the pain of seeing their accounts dive further and further into the red. As it was, I mean, I haven't chased any challenges in months now. Not even commons. I really just work with the Dapper that I have. I don't take losses. My sales have been incredibly small because I'm not moving things around anymore to chase value. I either have it or I don't. And I'm done depositing too. I really am. That's just me. It's not financial advice. It never will be. But yeah, I'm done depositing for now. I can't even take the gains right now. I'm straight austerity for me, and yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. I suspect that's the way it is for a lot of collectors. They're just in wait and see mode, and that's sadly going to continue. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not above discussion. I'm not above debate. But don't pile onto something that I addressed. And don't pile onto something that, if you can, don't pile on about the information that has already been out there, whether you know about it or not. You have to get to that information. Information has never been easier to access, so no excuses in that regard. If you don't have the information, go get it. If you want to make decisions based on information that you should have had, well, then that's on you. That's got nothing to do with me, and that's got nothing to do with Dapper. If they've said it, if they've made it clear what we need to do, or what they're planning on doing or willing to do, then that is entirely on us, whether it is in the farthest reach of the office hours or at the very bottom of a blog post. All of that factors in. Don't be complacent, man. That's really what being a shark is about. It's not just about taking profits. It's about putting yourself in a position to succeed, long term and short term. It's not just about flipping now. It's about flipping 5 years from now if you can, and being in the best position possible going forward. So with that, I'm going to go find something to eat, and I wish you all nothing but the best in your Top Shot lives and at night here, and whatever you decide to get yourselves into. The night is still certainly young on both coasts, and whatever awaits. So I hope everybody had a decent time in NFT NYC. I was not there. That's not really my thing. But whatever you decide to get into, be it the convention or anything else like that, best of outcomes to you, and see you around the streets.